everyone. Welcome to yet another episode of Velocity by Hawky.ai. Today we have a very interesting as well as extremely relevant person in the space of digital marketing, who is someone who not only practices digital marketing but also is someone who comes up with playbooks for the problems that the industry is just starting to see or even going to see. And I think we'll cover more of that in today's conversation. I had one conversation earlier with him, and I think it was supposed to be a 1 hour conversation, which I extended to a 3 hours discussion with extremely insightful discussion. Hoping to get at least maybe some percentage of that in today's conversation. Sindhu Biswal, welcome to this episode, Sindhu Biswal. Glad to have you here.
Thanks, Surinder. Thanks for having me. Excited for this.
Sure, Sindhu. I think we'll cover your latest venture as well as the latest part of your stint, Sindhu. So, would want to start from probably where you started. Maybe why don't you help us understand why did you choose this field, and maybe also take us to 2017 with your first social networking app that you had built and scaled it to 1 million plus users and so on. What is your experience? How did that app concept, social networking app itself came into concept, and why did you do that? And yeah, let's take us through there.
Sure. I think I'm an outcome of a lot of random serendipity. There has been no plan. My background is technically I was supposed to do music, so I was working in a music record label when I was doing my BBA. So I was working from morning 9 a.m. to night 8 p.m. there, and I was just going to college for proxy. So 3 years I did sound engineering. So I
Okay.
learned the technical aspects of mixing, mastering, how a sound is
Mm,
created. Now, through that, yes, I had observed how a client is handled, how a project comes, how a project is delivered, how our timelines are met. I might not have built those managerial instincts or something, but I was familiar with this space because at 18 years of age, when you're just doing it in and out, you keep on just slightly learning what is happening. Then I thought that okay, I will do something in music business. So the music laws, music licensing, publishing, syndication, that line of work. So hence I pursued my MBA in media management. We specialized in film and music.
mm,
But I met my co-founder. There was a guy who just came from Ogilvy, Dubai, and he had an
okay.
idea of a decentralized social networking app that allows people to meet over interest. And I was like,
Mm,
okay, it's a very phenomenal idea. And he pitched me to become a co-founder and a marketing CMO of sorts.
mm,
And that's how we started building the app. We were based in Noida. Our investors were Tata and Ernst& Young ke board of directors.
nice.
And we actually moved to Bombay then. And we started scaling the app. We scaled it to a 1.1.5 million users, MAUs, and the app was not able to generate a lot of revenue. Actually, there was no
Mm,
revenue model. And then we had to pivot. We had to pivot to an insider.in business model. And
okay.
then some issues started coming up between here and there, and we decided to quit. So when I quit, insider.in hired me. It was never planned to go to a competition, but that is also random. I don't recall how did that happen. I just don't recall. But I'm very sure I did not apply to their job list. So they gave me my first break in digital marketing. And by the way, I
Mm,
had no idea about digital marketing. So my first company was called Together. I
mm,
was running meta ads, but 50,000 rupees ka meta ads. That's it. Matlab,
mm,
majority of time was going into product, UI, UX, business planning. In fact, a lot of product marketing more than performance marketing specifically.
mm,
And my training ground was actually Paytm Insider. So I got a lovely boss. So I got a lovely mentor who taught me literally basic principles of digital marketing. Until then, I never did any course.
okay.
I did not have enough money to buy. There used to be a lot of courses like Digital Vidya and all who were
Mm,
charging
yeah.
60,000, 50,000, if I'm not wrong. And I did not have that much amount of money to spend. And I was not that smart also to browse through the internet and self learn as well. So, yeah, I was doing performance marketing. I was leading performance marketing for sports category, which is the IPL, ISL, and Pro Kabaddi League, the large music festivals and events, and your movies category of event
Mm,
movies category of your Paytm. That's how I got a decent brand name in the industry. I used to write on LinkedIn a lot of things.
okay.
Primarily, I was a full stack marketer. So I was doing email, push notifications, performance, Google ads, meta ads. So that time it was not called growth marketing. That time,
Yep.
in very simple word, there was nothing called performance marketing as well. It was called digital marketing, and digital marketers were supposed to do end to end. It was not ki, okay, you just run meta ads. So Did that for 2 years, and then Pocket Aces, I think, was going into a partnership with Netflix, and
Mm,
the founder reached out to me. We There was no role or anything. We had a cup of coffee. We were just brainstorming on what can be done, and he created a role over a cup of coffee. He said that, okay, there is a concept in US called growth, and I want you to take your product principles, entrepreneurship principles, and performance principles, apply it on content, and let's see what works. It was an experimental hire. So I said yes. So I ended up leading growth for FilterCopy, Dice Media, Gobble, Loco. Loco was a gaming app. Loco is a
mm,
huge gaming app right now. Like, it's on an international level. So I was one of the founding growth members there.
mm,
And that's how a lot of creators and a lot of production houses know me, because I'm an ex FilterCopy, Dice Media. And then I was like, I'm so primarily I was doing performance marketing for web series there,
mm,
data analysis for content, data analysis of thumbnails, how a content should be read, the retention graph, which was industry
mm,
breaking because there was no
mm.
one either teaching this, and this is what 2019, 2019,
Yeah.
2019 and a half. There was no course available there. There was no one in my peer doing the same thing as well. So, and then I said, okay, I got bored out of this. Not technically bored, I got typecasted. So a lot of my PR was happening around Sindhu is the media marketer, and I hate to be typecasted. If I have ever seen in my career, people know that, okay, Sindhu is a certain kind of a marketer, I will change my identity. I just want to be a. I should be able to be the best marketer who can sell anything. I just don't
Mm,
want to be a SaaS marketer or this marketer, that marketer. That time I also started teaching. So I started teaching performance marketing, growth marketing at Growth School, Upgrad, and a bunch of other colleges. Till date, I teach as well. Teaching helps me open up my brains, build my articulation skills, and everything. Then I moved to Bangalore. I was heading a YC backed startup. I was one of the first growth marketers. It's called Better Half.
okay.
Uh,
Yeah.
Again, I just got lucky to scale Better Half. Beautiful product, beautiful app. There I was doing apps marketing. So I was doing performance marketing, retention marketing, CRM, product marketing, building viral loops inside the app,
Mm,
which is actually called growth marketing in the US.
yeah. Correct.
So I got renowned in the Bangalore circuit, VC circuit, and then my last stint was Jupiter. It is a fintech app. After
Mm,
that, I might have consulted and worked with at least 40 different companies in astrology, gaming, streaming, as someone building a SaaS in Hong Kong. A lot of agentic AI companies. I was an advisor of Raj Chamani, finance assurance. So my portfolio is
yeah.
pretty large that I can context switch. I have built this skill with time, and then landed upon this uh, thesis that the world is moving towards heavy predictive content analytics, content marketing driven playbooks. And this goes back to the very basic, simple principle of marketing, right? Marketing was always content and storytelling.
Yeah.
Tools are just a way to do that. If
Yes.
you go inside a cafe, and if there are two pamphlets, in one pamphlet it is written hot espresso, and that particular copy allows the cafe to charge 5 rupees extra, and in one
Mm,
pamphlet it is written just espresso, which is not allowing you to charge 5 rupees extra. That's a beautiful way for me to just tell you how powerful copies are, that you can simply add hot before espresso, and suddenly human mind starts feeling something that you can't express for you to charge 5 rupees. So I'm like, I'm in the business, and I'm dedicating my next 10 years to figuring these micro nuances that allows to build retention, selling, performance marketing. And it's been 1.5 years I'm building Buzzlab, and I had not heard about Andromeda. But right now, all the theses are looking towards, we are all in the right direction. I mean, you are building
exactly.
the same thing as well. The only difference is you are trying to do it via product. I'm doing trying to do it via service. But
Yeah.
at least our thesis is still the same. So that's what I have been up to, and that's what have been my journey so far.
Yeah. Yeah. Sindhu. Thanks a lot. Thanks for explaining this in detail. In fact, yeah, this is one of the major things that I wanted to talk about. That's why I introduced as well as someone who writes playbooks for some problem that the industry is going to face. How did you predict, or let's say, how did you come about this playbook, the data-driven content playbook, long back before Andromeda or before anything else as well? How did you see this evolution happening? Like, were you following the trends and then you were able to sort of figure out that this was going to happen? Or it's just fundamentals. How do you think about
No,
it?
I think I will. So I have been practicing this, right? And I have been practicing. So I'm not just a performance marketer who is narrow visioned into working with just fintech startups. I'm
Mm,
working with startups, corporates, brands, and creators as well on YouTube, on Insta, that I'm able to see that everywhere it is the same pattern. Nothing has
mm,
changed. When I was with Pocket Aces in 2019, there were two people in data science team जिनके साथ we were building virality scoring mechanism, thumbnail analyzer, smile curve analysis. कि okay, if we increase the smile curve of a thumbnail, can it increase? Now, which
mm,
means since back in those days, I have this conviction that hey, man, content and everything is moving towards first principle. Every human behavior has a pattern. We have just
yeah.
yet not understood the pattern, and there is
Mm,
nothing rocket science for you to at least come to that conclusion. At least a simple theory. You go to Instagram, you will see that a lot of Instagram coaches tells you that you should use Instagram hook for 3 seconds, let's say. How did they come to this conclusion that okay, you should use a 3 second Instagram hook? They are not doing some data analysis. This is just plain observation. When someone
yeah.
says there is a concept called pattern interrupt, that hey, if everyone in the world is creating a straight face video, cold open start, can you start a video which directly is a top angle shot? That is a pattern
Yeah.
interrupt because that will break the pattern. So nothing rocket science to be there. It just comes naturally to me because I'm sitting with all the stakeholders, not just one
Yeah.
stakeholder, and I'm able to see
Yeah.
pattern is almost the same everywhere.
Got it. Got it, Sindhu. And when it comes to the long form video as well as now, let's say long form content as well as with maybe paid ad content, the short form and so on, do you think the same principle applies now or better than ever, or how is it?
No, so there are nuances to it. Let me just address those nuances. Long format content will either solve trust or will
Mm,
either solve something that I call as in market capture. For an
okay.
example, if I was the CMO of Hawky, the only and first thing I should be doing to deploy my capital is to go to YouTube, start looking for what are people searching for, what are my prospects searching for on YouTube as a question that they are typing using vidIQ, do a download of these keywords, and then take a call that do I want to address this by using short format 5 minuters or long format 20
Mm,
minutes. The moment you start thinking about that, you will realize if someone is looking for how to run a meta ad, why the hell I need a podcast format for that? I should absolutely show the person how to run a meta ad. So the answer is plain vanilla, they're out there. So short
right.
format solves for in market direct intent capture. Long format is only for trust, that oh,
Mm,
Surinder knows Sindhu.
mm,
Hence, Surinder will be a trustable guy in so and so industries, let's say. Let's say I'm not
right.
the trusted person in conventional and legacy industries like Tata, Birla, and Reliance. But if Surinder gets a podcast done with a guest who is, let's say, India head of Reliance, then the
Mm,
podcast is solving for trust, not for technical views or anything else. It is that okay, my Surinder has connected with Reliance. He's a trusted guy. He's not just some nobody who is building
yeah.
this. So that's what the long format and short format on organic solves for. On
Mm,
paid, it is slightly different. Paid formula is nothing but simple customer acquisition cost or cost per lead. It's as simple as that. If you are able to break down and build a equation that okay, so and so industries, this should be the length, this should be the hook, this should be the product placement window, this is exactly where the edit should happen, this is exactly where zoom in should happen. The moment you start thinking about it, you will see that every video has approximately 30-40 variables. I'll just name
mm,
some variables. Indoor works or outdoor works, how many cars should be there,
yeah.
what is the right gender, what is the
Yes.
right age, what should be the image zoom in ratio, how should you start the video, where should be the camera placed. Now this is essentially more engineered video. That is simply the paid marketing world, that you are only focused on CAC. Whatever is able to
Mm,
achieve that CAC, you are observing that. So hence these two
sure.
playbooks are completely different. The outcomes are
Mm,
different, the way you approach it is different. There is no thumbnail concept in paid, but there is a
correct.
big part of thumbnail component if you're doing YouTube, extremely big part.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah. Yeah.
the process suddenly changes. If you do YouTube, suddenly your process is you have to first think title, thumbnail, and then script. But on Instagram,
Mm,
it is different. On a performance, it is different. So three different playbooks, three different skills, three different nuances, three different articulations and context switches. So it's not all the same.
Got it. Got it, Chindu. No, that's great. So I've seen one of the quotes that you have often come up with, something like brands always wants to be creators and creators always wants to be brands. No?
Yeah.
Can you double dive or double click into that? What do you mean by that? And how did you come up with that philosophy?
Again, that's a part of my deck. That's in the probably the third or fifth slide, and it hit
Okay.
every time I deliver that. And
Right.
I see that on the table the founder is sitting. It is so
Right.
relatable to them because that's what they want.
Yeah.
So what happened is there is an interesting trend shift that has happened in the Indian ecosystem specifically, and actually not an Indian ecosystem. Like recently, you might have heard the news. I don't know. Mr. Beast parent company is going public right now. This is
Wow. Okay.
such a big news that for the first time in the world, a YouTuber
Yeah.
is going to public, like
Yeah.
straightforward. This suddenly is scary for the brands because until now, brands का क्या हो रहा था? Brands were like, okay, a startup is challenging me. They were
Mm.
never scared of YouTubers, Instagrammers. Now suddenly,
Yeah.
YouTubers and Instagrammers without a product are able to build distribution, then
Mm.
build a product, then build a PMF, and then are able to scale. Versus the
Mm.
brand philosophy was always the reverse. First build the
Yes.
product, then find distribution, then do PMF, and then do scale. So what has started happening is brands have started having FOMO, and that's why you
Mm.
start seeing founder-led branding as a very big thing. Like every founder wants to be a creator slash influencer right now. Yes, for some founders it helps in leads and all, but for some founders you will be like, why this guy is on LinkedIn creating content or on Instagram creating content when he's just selling chocolates, for an example, or ice creams, or just plain 20 rupees things. Like no one is gonna watch him on an Instagram and buy his chocolates or her chocolates. So this is the trend which is absolutely visible. And influencers, on the other hand, after a certain point, every influencer is big. Like you will be surprised, every week I have at least two to three influencers reaching out to me on Instagram, and these are 1 million plus influencers who are like, bro, I have the money, I have the cash flow sorted, I have the distribution. I'm just trying to figure out the right partnership to launch a brand. We see
Okay.
TechBurner launching an app, launching a watch. We see
Mm.
TechBurner launching a t-shirt brand.
Mm.
We see that guy King launching a perfume brand. So
Mm.
this is very very solid happening, and these are crossroads that we are sitting in. So this is gonna keep on increasing. Nevertheless, every influencer right after 1 million, you will see that they will have to become a brand because there is no other choice.
Yeah, got it. So, if they become a brand, will that not reduce their possibility of maybe, let's say, partnering with more brands with the kind of distribution that they have already created? How do they see that?
Not really, not really. I'll tell you something. What I have interestingly observed, like for an example, if you look at Raj, so Raj has, I don't know if the other company is running or not, but Raj has technically two companies. One is the Media
Mm.
Private Limited, where
Mm.
there is podcast as a property and all, where they make money out of monetization, brand sponsorships, and everything. Then there is House of X, which is basically, if you are a large creator, I will do an equity model with you and a rev
Mm.
share model with you, where we co-create brands. We will take care of launching the brand and everything. You take care of the marketing and put your name on it and do that.
Yep. Yeah.
Now, that is not hampering the other business. This is not hampering that business as well. And this is visible across. Like you have your food farmer doing that. I don't think food farmer launching a whey protein is going to hamper his brand deals as well. I don't know he does brand deals or not. Very rarely he does,
Mm.
but that is not going to hamper. So these are
Sure.
two specific identities, and I'll tell you the reason. The reason is you still don't have a lot of people to partner with. Like I'll give you a very funny example. There are a lot of marketing influencers, a lot on Instagram, but there are few marketing influencers with a designation that you can actually say that, okay, I want to do a brand partnership with this person for a long time.
Mm.
Like as an example, I'll just give you AI Sensei is a company. AI Sensei reached out to me for an influencer marketing partnership. Okay, essentially they reached out to me because of the designation that, okay, I might have a Shilpa or a Rawat or just anyone, but they are just Instagram creators who talk about
Mm.
marketing, but they don't have a pedigree that people will listen to. So they don't have those brand logos that, okay, if I run ads on, they will listen to. So they might be doing them for just reach, but for
Mm.
trust, you still don't have a lot of people that you can collaborate with, because a lot of people are working in Amazon or working in Flipkart, and their companies won't allow to put a brand logo. If the companies won't allow you, there is nothing in it for you primarily.
Mhm. Mm.
There are very few people available, and hence I don't think that will ever be a challenge. Yes, it would have been a challenge if there were too many creators for brands to partner with, so that when creators become brands will start saying, oh, you are my competition, I will not do that. Right now I don't see it
Got it.
happening.
Got it. Got it, Sindhu. I think you brought this up as well in the discussion. So you have worked with B2C, I mean, various type of B2C, fintech, or I think you have worked with media agency as well. Then you have worked with content creators and even content companies and so on and so forth. So is it like you pick one industry and then you try to learn that, work there, and then, as you said, maybe once you got more, let's say, related to that, or getting tagged on that, you move on? Or how is it your current portfolio looking like? Is it a split of all these companies together, or is it like concentrated on one particular thing?
So when I was building my career, I used to dedicate my life as a, like, I have always dedicated my life to 1 year projects. Next
Okay.
1 year, and I'll tell you the specifics of that. So next 1 year, I'm gonna learn how to do apps marketing for a two-sided marketplace, and I will go in depth. So when I was doing Better Half is a two-sided marketplace, which means I have to do female apps marketing separately, male apps marketing separately. I dedicate myself to learn that nuances, product marketing, how backend works, how front end works, what are MMPs, how to do attribution and everything, which are a more deeper side of the apps.
Yes.
Dedicate it for 1 year. Once I see that okay, I actually have understood the depth, then I start adding some more stuff. Now some more stuff can be, oh, let me pick retention marketing right now. Let me pick anything else right now. Then I switch industry to see some other industry might do that. Right now my things are different. I think last 5 years I have been practicing context switching together. So last 5 year I don't recall any time where I have not done a fintech and an astrology company together, and
Okay.
I'm not able to context switch. And I think I have just become a much better person to context switch faster, and hence I'm able to operate pretty well. I won't recommend this to everyone. Not everyone is built for that. But right now my portfolio looks like I'm doing an Acco, which is an
Mm.
insurance company. I'm doing an Acco Drive, which is a car bikes company. I'm doing a Practo, which is a healthcare company. Doing a B2B company, which is basically into your servers and AI hardwares.
Okay.
Completely different.
Yeah.
I'm doing an astrology creator, which is
Mm.
also extremely different. So yeah, this is just to give you some sense that okay, I'm context switching in terms of playbook, in
Yeah.
terms of platforms, in terms
Yeah.
of complexity of the problem, and in terms of industry at the same go. And
Mm.
some eureka moment has started happening that I am able to wrap in my head that everything is still similar. The principles are still similar. I'm able to apply some learnings from here to here, from here to here,
Mm.
and that is the beauty of it. I'm not
Nice.
boxing that okay, a furniture brand should be promoted like this, and let's do this. And
Mm.
that is where I feel AI might do wrong, because
Mm.
traditionally all the service industries and agencies are built because brands are like, we have been thinking in boxes, let us go to a consulting firm like a McKinsey or Bain and Co, because they are not boxed out, they have a
Correct.
bird's eye view. Let us
Correct.
do that. But if I, let's say, create custom agents, one for furniture, one for this, that will still not solve the purpose, because
It'll
the
get
reality,
boxed.
yeah, it will get boxed in. So that's my portfolio, and that's what I have been up to.
Got it. Interesting. I agree. I think someone who has probably, let's say, learnings from multiple domains, I think will always be able to see things at a fundamental level. What's not changing, what's changing. I think that delta really makes a difference. So great, great to know that. So one thing I think. One of the ACO campaigns you mentioned about 80% retention, which drove around 80% retention and so on, right? Maybe can you help me take through maybe either that campaign or some other campaign? Can you take us through the process of how you come up with the content strategy and how you sort of also maybe tie it with the outcome? I think you are someone who are extremely bullish about owning the outcome as well, not just the mere output of that campaign. So yeah, how do you do that? Like, can you take us through your process of doing fresh campaign?
So I'll explain the most complex and the most difficult project ever in my life and in the whole team's life, which is Wake. And I will just, which is a nightmare for any brand manager or any head of marketing to take up.
Okay.
So the most difficult thing to attribute is organic marketing. It is the most
Mm,
difficult thing, and it is not that I'm just talking about it for the first time in 2025, which we are going to end. Last 20 years, say every Tom, Dick, Harry, performance marketer, brand marketer, founders have been asking, I gave you 1 crore rupees to run a brand campaign. How do I justify the ROI? And it is a big pain in the ass to figure out how to justify the ROI. Some people say that, okay, you should not justify the ROI, which I also believe. Some people say you should justify some ROI, which I should believe as well. But then I have also been in that stage that, okay, how the hell do we do that? I was never in a process to figure this out. It just
mm,
happened. We were second month into our business. We started our company with Acco as our first client.
mm.
We have great relationships. They still are working with us. Our second partner was Wakefit. Wakefit
Okay.
came to us and told us that, hey, I'm not, so my brand search volume in specific markets of South are lesser. Can you impact those markets? That's it. That was a plain simple brief.
Mm,
I can tell you this with very surety that just do a small experiment. Just rotate this brief to all the
mm,
CMOs in India and do a hackathon.
mm,
You will see out of 100, 20 people will come to certain kind of a conclusion which might actually work. Out of those 20, 5 people's idea might be like that actually it is deployable.
mm.
Out of those 5, maybe 1 or 2 will have actual idea that is actually deployable and scalable. The rest of the ideas are just ideas, random ideas, or just chat GPT ideas which are not contextual in Indian context or something like that, which means I didn't have the access or power of perplexity or ChatGPT solving it, and it actually was not able to solve it. So we
Mm.
went to the drawing board and then we said, okay, let us do one thing. Let us actually map these markets and see how much is the category growing, which is the category search volume. So which means, for
Yeah,
an example, let's say mattress is a category search volume. Best mattress near me, best
sure,
mattress in India, best mattress in Telangana. So we start mapping those graphs. We start mapping Wigfit ka brand search volume in those markets ka graph. We start
sure.
mapping all the competition graphs. We put, and suddenly in a big chart, we start putting out what are multiple markets charts looking like. And
Mm,
then we built a concept called attack and hold theory. Which markets we should attack, which markets we should hold.
okay.
Hold basically means that I will not try to send 100% of my army into those market. I
Mm,
might send 5 people, 5 of my best commanders into those market to hold the ship because
sure.
I'm doing decently well. The
Yeah.
markets where I'm extremely bad, I will deploy 80% of my army there,
Mm,
and my army deployment will be based on how my markets are looking in the ranking order, that which markets I should deploy in. There
okay.
also we also started looking at other trends like what is the traffic volume to conversion ratio. There could be some markets where traffic is coming but people are not converting because maybe the price point is high and I cannot
Sure.
decrease the price. So this is just for me to give you a signal that, okay, I did not start with content. It was pure research analysis, business analytics. How is my pricing looking like? Is the pricing gonna break in the certain market? Is the am I my are my delivery agents pretty fast there? Is my pin code location available there? So there are a lot of parameters. We first
Sure.
qualified that, and then we built uh, built hold and attack thing. After we did that, then we deployed. Then we did thought that, okay. Actually, my co-founder got this ideology or this philosophy that trust factor is if Surinder talks about himself,
Mm,
there is no trust. If other people are talking about Surinder, there is trust. Now, with that core philosophy, we said that, hey, there is something that brands have been doing fundamentally wrong. Whenever they deploy a UGC campaign or they deploy any campaign, it's basically them talking about themselves. It is
mm,
all the UGC on their page.
okay.
And customers are smart enough to see that, hey, you are deploying a campaign.
Mm,
So what we said is, okay, let the brand not talk about it. Let other
mm,
people talk about it. And
mm,
then we started identifying that, okay, we will do influencers. And how many
mm,
influencers? We said, okay, trust works in volume. So we
mm.
said we will do 120 influencers, which will then divide it into multiple languages, which will then divide it
Sure.
into multiple genres. Again, in that we figured out which genre, what is the views to shares ratio. We said we will
Mm,
only focus on shares, cost per shares, see how much
mm,
of influencer is charging, how much shares is the person generating. That is the first phase. Then in second phase, we will deploy performance marketing campaign, but not to drive conversion, but to drive something called as incremental network
mm,
effect. So we built a formula for incremental network effect. Basically, how you do your growth coefficient or virality coefficient if you're doing a product
Yeah.
app, right? That okay,
Right.
if five people are downloading my product, how many people are referring my product? So we applied those principles, we built that formula, and then we built a triggering mechanism that if so and so influencer get deployed in the first 24 hours, what is the views per hour, shares per hour, velocity of growth? If the
Yeah.
velocity of growth crosses a certain threshold, I will then trigger my influencer performance marketing campaign into three folds. They will go into these certain affinities. If this affinity crossing a certain kind of a parameter, then I will deploy more money. So this whole playbook was built in this,
Nice.
which is on language level, on geography level, every month, and every month ke end pe, we are analyzing again those 30 parameters I told you, right? Which language is working? Was there a trending music in the song or not?
Hmm.
Did the content have direct start say content, or it was
Yeah.
a storytelling content? So there were 30 parameters, and then every month we keep on optimizing. That was the
Got
overall.
it.
It actually worked. It actually worked. In the first month, we started seeing a 180% jump. And I was also, for the first time in my life, surprised that, hey, we can actually engineer people behavior in a specific market as well. And
Hmm.
uh, yeah, we are doing this for a couple of other brands right now.
Hmm.
But this is the
Yeah.
evolution from that.
Got it. Got it, Into. Very interesting, actually. In fact, I mean, this is also something that Hockey currently facilitates, right, in terms of engineering the content's effectiveness across different places and so on. No, that's great. Maybe just to maybe continue that conversation there, right? So we keep seeing there are a lot of changes that Meta or Google brings into their algorithm very frequently. I think whatever I've seen as a pattern, Meta will not publish an update for some time, but then they will keep publishing multiple updates over a few weeks altogether, right? So I've been seeing that for a couple of years now. So now how do you modify your playbook, or like how do you sort of react to these changes? Do you take these changes very immediately? Do you see that coming the way how maybe the other form is evolving? Maybe now I think the paid ads algorithm pretty much resonates how the organic algorithm works as well, the content. And yeah, so do you see these? I've been following this maybe only for 2 years or so, but I think you have been following this for quite some time. Any trends that you see in understanding how Meta or Google is evolving, and how much do you have to sort of modify your playbook or update your approach according to that?
I think it's a great question, and there's no easy answer. I'll just tell you my answer. And had I been running a large enterprise, let's say if I had 300 people with a steady SOP of running an ad, trust me, I would not have done a better job, because it is very hard to deploy a fast change that is coming tomorrow when you have a large team. The unfortunate or the fortunate fact is, since I have a lean team and I work exactly like a brand growth team, if I myself see an update tomorrow, I can force my team that I can quickly train my team and start deploying it from the right today itself.
Sure.
There is an I have always followed a simple philosophy throughout my career, and my boss told me two frameworks. Number one, you are under the territory of the platforms. So
Yes.
and I keep on reminding myself that ads are on top of Instagram app. Ads are not a separate app, which means Instagram UI, Instagram UX, Instagram behavior is the first thing that you should learn, and ads come
Mm,
second. Because
mm,
again, if that behavior is moving towards a reel, your
mm.
ad will move towards a reel, and Meta is not going to send you an update that, hey, advertisers, you should be doing reels. It is your job to figure it
Yeah.
out.
Right.
If in an ad tech segment there is a trend since last 2 months that okay, people are creating handshaken ads in a selfie way, it is my job to figure out. Meta is not going to send me that. So
Mm,
my team always, and I specifically, for all of my partners, even if I'm not able to do a great job in understanding the whole universe, constantly keep an eye on organic trends.
mm,
I don't think there is no other way for you to understand that. Part one. Part two, I have always followed a very plain forward philosophy. I will do the exact opposite of color palette what the platform UI and UX demands. So if my meta palette is blue and white, I will not create any content in blue and white unless and until there is a heavy brand segment coming, because I will be camouflaging it and it will not work in this case. So that is the second trend I always keep on checking. The third trend, honestly, I don't give a lot of heed to influencers just creating a whole mess out of hey, you should be warned, Andromeda update has come out, yeah, this blah 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 blah, because everyone is having their own update. Very simple. I always, doesn't matter how big of a team I'm running, I spend half an hour to run, launch my own campaign.
Mm,
Whenever I'm launching a campaign, I'm consistently looking at the UX, something has changed, is any pop-up coming up or anything. Like for an example, a recent update I have got for one of my client is image generation, that
mm,
I am putting out one image and Meta is giving me 40 images out of that. For other clients, it has not come up as an access. Now this suddenly gives me a window to test this image automation at scale, because
yeah.
it was a big problem. Like I
Mm,
used to give 20 variables to test to the brand, and brand used to give me the creatives. Now suddenly it is completely gone.
yeah.
Yes, it is a big pain where as a business you think, oh, let's do this business of variable image creating, and suddenly you see Meta has launched it. It is a big pain. But I am staying away from taking any decision in prioritization,
Mm,
because right now it is very volatile. It is extremely
yeah.
volatile. By the time you come up with something, these people will be launching something else. So
Right.
that is my third way of being on top of the trends. But one thing I'm extremely clear about, and I follow this philosophy, that if there is a particular feature that has been launched by the product team of Meta, there is a
Mm,
supreme high possibility that they will be pushing this feature,
yes.
because it is in best interest for the product manager to the head of product to push this feature. So Meta, even if the Meta pop-up is not telling me that use advantage plus creative, I will still use it as a separate campaign, and I will A/B test with manual creatives just to see that it is working or not. Has been a culture that I have always followed in life, and I have
Mm,
trained my team to follow this culture. So it is a cultural thing in my team always, and
got
I will not be comfortable in having a second opinion that, oh, should I test this new feature or not.
You should always test it.
Yeah, you should 100% test it. And that goes to everywhere. If tomorrow YouTube is launching a feature called, let's say, courses, uh, please go ahead and be the first person to test it out, because you will get a lot of boost. Like, for an example, a
Mm,
very simple hack right now, a lot of coaches in US are giving. There is an app called Edits on Instagram.
mm,
If
mm,
if you upload a content on Instagram via Instagram app, versus if you create a content using Edits app and then upload it on Instagram, you will see a
mm.
2000 to 3000 extra reach ka boost. And
Oh,
this
wow.
is also so I used to do that when Edits got launched, because this is principle. Like, why the hell will a company deploy so much of capital to launch another app and will not give priority?
Yes.
And then
Yeah.
suddenly I see after 3 months Adam Mosseri is coming up and saying that, hey folks, if you create content on Edits, you will get an extra reach. And I'm like, you didn't see it coming. It is a very obvious basic thing that company will deploy money, they will give some more bonus
Yeah.
points to that. So that's the principle, nothing else.
Got it. Got it, Sindhu. No, that's a great view of it, Sindhu. We have seen in a lot of, I would say, both in large organizations, even in, let's say, leaner teams as well. The creative teams and the performance teams sort of have, I would say, they seem to be working in silos, and I think you have also highlighted it out in some places. How do you sort of gap? How do you fix that gap, Sindhu? Like, do you act as the gap in between itself, or do you sort of put a framework around that so that it runs autonomously of sorts?
So I did initially try to fix this gap as an independent consultant, and I failed at it. It could
Okay.
be my shortcomings that I was not the best coach to convince them. But then at this point of time, I realized these two different teams are different breeds. They have different
Mhm,
KPIs.
mhm.
It is very tough to merge them. So my business is about the center point, that okay, I can understand your language, I can understand your language. You both don't need to talk to each other. So in a lot of 95% of our partners, I have straightforward mentioned, you will not give me brief. I'm charging extra to create my own brief, because you both
Okay.
are not talking to each other. So you even don't know what is the brief to be created, and you also don't know what is the brief to be created. So I am charging a premium for writing my own briefs
Mm.
first. Because for
Okay.
briefs I need to merge both data points and do
Yes,
data analysis and come up, right? So if you
exactly.
both are not talking, you both will give me independent briefs, and
Mm.
I cannot make sense out of both things. So that is how I have been able to solve until now. I don't know how the future looks like, but I have been reached out by extremely large brands, like a lot of brands that are very well famous, and you might be knowing them, asking where they have asked us that, hey, can you please come to our company as a consultant, spend 20 days with us and talk to these teams and sort this thing out, and maybe create a process or a centralized dashboard. To attempt that, I have done two calls with my team, and sudden sense of barrier I feel from both of the teams, that I have now realized, boss, it is not doable with large teams. It
mm,
Even if the large teams are buying a dashboard or a tool, they might be using it for a 3 to 6 month, unless and until there is the CMO is coming to bottom of it and trying to solve it. No external person can solve it. It has to be the senior management who is actually taking help of someone and solving it, rather than just leave
mm,
it to a third party consultant or a person or a tool to solve it. That is
mm,
their job to do that. So
mm,
that's what the scene looks like right now. But yeah, the point is they have to merge by next year.
mm.
There is no other way
Yeah.
at all. So my thesis is, I don't think they will merge. There will be a new breed of marketers who will come out. I'm trying. By next January, my goal is to launch some of training courses, consulting courses, and everything. And we should chat about it. It could be a strategic partnerships as well. But my job is to train CMOs in understanding creative analytics
Mm.
and everything. And we have to create this new breed of marketers for them
Yeah.
to do that. It is not going to
Exactly.
happen without that.
Exactly. Exactly. I think this new job title of creative strategist is coming up. I think it's more becoming more common in the West, and I think in India it's just picking up. I was just exploring how many creative strategist roles are open in India. There were around 80 odd openings in
Yeah.
India
Maybe
for
there is a
creative
problem. The
strategist.
creative strategies that we have in the market are typical creative
Yes.
writers and brand
Brand
strategists.
strategist.
Yeah.
Yes.
They are not the
Yeah.
performance creative strategist or a growth creative strategist.
Exactly. Exactly.
Very, very few folks are available.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And even through hockey, we are trying to solve that gap through the product where the creative teams have a certain set of reports that they get to see in their language how the past creatives have performed for different objectives, different products, and different platforms and so on. But I do see that the silos is still existing, and we are also trying to see how we can sort of bridge that gap,
Yeah.
Sindhu. But yeah.
Like again, take the use case of, it is not rocket science to figure this out, right? Like again, if you just zoom out and just think how Indian startups implemented growth marketing as a role, and then you will go into the, because there that time also brand marketers were there and digital marketers were there, and there was no growth teams at all. And then you will realize that, hey, actually the industry had to consolidate and create a lot of training sessions, cohorts, coaching of growth marketing for
Mm,
5 years back to back. And a lot of players came into the center. There is growth X who contributed, there is growth school who contributed, there
yes.
is product folks, and there are a lot of people. And then right now we see a better version where
Mm,
there is a growth team which is separate, there is a brand team which is separate, there is a
mm,
performance team which is separate, and the
mm,
growth team is responsible for retention, data analysis, CRM,
yeah.
upsell, cross sell, product, combination of that. I
Mm,
think we'll have to go through that window where uh, someone, not someone can do it. I just want to do it as a first hand person to just start the wave, because it has been a long time plan. Actually, this was supposed I was supposed to start this last year, but
okay.
things keep coming, brands keep on coming, and I'm just out of bandwidth. But next year, that is my full focus plan to do that. And if other people join the wave and we see 10 to 15 other folks doing their own stuff, then we'll see this solved, where people who are coming to you and directly using a tool maybe don't have
Mm,
to ask you that why your tool exists. They already know how to use
yeah,
the tool, already know what is the use
right.
case, directly pay it to you.
Got it, Chindu. Well, that's an interesting concept. I think there is a lot of awareness that needs to be done for that
Yeah, yeah.
right now. And right now, it's sort of probably Meta and Google are already saying that through the way how campaign structures are modifying. But yes, I think there has to be really good push right there from the, as you said, like I've also seen brands where the head of marketing, or head of digital, or the CMO, if that person itself is someone who is interested in analytics and who is interested in doing a lot of research and so on, I've seen that coming top down in a lot of the
It
brands.
is always top down.
Yeah, it is always top down. Got it. One more thing that I wanted to understand, like, how did you, yeah, so you have been working with B2C brands and then a different type of brands, and then you acted as a consultant for different brands. How did this thought of starting up, let's say, in labs, kind of an agency come into pictures? Is it something that you wanted to try? You ran out of bandwidth, so you had to build a team to do that, or there was a larger vision behind it? Yeah, what was that?
Let's just fancy. I had no vision, nothing. I was very happy in. So I was a fractional CMO of
Yes.
some companies. For some companies, I was on the advisory table, which means I hold some equity plus a rev share plus this. In some companies, I was a direct consultant, and with some creators, I was acting as an advisor. So that was so. This is how a solopreneur life looks like. I
Mm,
started with that. I ran out of bandwidth. I built a three-member team just to help me. I did not call as an agency at all because everything was happening on my name. Those were
sure.
just my interns and my full timers who were just doing things. And life was good. I was doing that for 2.5 years. And then my co-founder Sushant I met via a common friend. Sushant was building a production house. He already had a production house that was working with large kingfishers of the world, very legacy
Nice.
brands, and they were just doing. Sushant is an ex Ogilvy Lintas head, so he comes with all the industry connects. So he kept
Mm,
on asking me that we should launch a creative course
mm,
school. So he was
mm.
very bullish on teaching
Okay.
because the other personality that I have, a lot of people don't know, is I have a big portfolio as a teacher. I might have taught at least 27,000, 30,000 founders, professional students until now through
Wow. Okay.
various collaborations. Some are ISB, IIMs, Masters Union. I'm still a Masters Union guest faculty, a growth school, upgrad. So that was happening. And then I think ACO forced us to build a company because ACO was like, we will only work with a private limited. And that's it. And then Sushant just told me that, okay, I think this is our calling. Let's just try. So I said, what
Sure.
is there is no harm in doing anything. And then we started. Then when we started, we had no vision. So ACO was for YouTube. ACO said that, hey, I have seen Sindhu, your pedigree. I just want whatever you did for Raj, just do it for me. That's it. We started
Sure.
with that. We had no idea what the hell to do. We had no idea how to. We didn't have an office, no team, nothing. The second client was Wakefit. Wakefit gave us a very tough problem. We didn't have an office. So Wakefit said, you can work out of our office. So our whole team was working out of Wakefit office. We did that for 2 months. We hired all the people. So we kept on hiring and Wakefit gave us a space. So Wakefit technically incubated us for free without holding
Mm,
any equity. That's how we
mm.
started. And still there was no vision. But having said that, I have my past traumas of first startup not working out, and hence I never thought to start another startup of my own. I think I'm a
Okay.
great kingsmaker. I know how
Mm,
to make Surinder a great CEO. I know my shortcomings not to be a good CEO. Until last 2 years, I just took it up as a challenge that, okay, let me actually learn how to be a good CEO. I'm a good CMO. I'm
mm.
very well aware of that. Not a great CEO. So I think I call myself that, hey, I'm a CMO of Buzzlab and an intern CEO of Buzzlab. That's what I uh, tell myself so that I'm keeping on learning how the ship thing works. But that's how we started. But until then, I have done my research. So I at least had interviewed 50, 55 CMOs of India. And I had a big Excel sheet where I have only written what are the problem statements of all the CMOs and my head of marketing. So
Mm.
when then I started started Buzzlab, and then we had a second client, and we were then 50th month into our business, and then we were like, we relooked at the market gaps, and then we figured out positioning, which areas to be in, which areas not
Nice.
to be in. We don't do all business as well. Like for an example, anytime a client comes to us and tells us that, will you do Instagram marketing for us, and we say absolutely no. So I'm not doing everything. So that's what we keep on.
So, how did things change? What changed between running a company or maybe a solopreneur versus running a company, Sindhu? What are the new responsibilities or what are the new fears or anything on those sorts?
No, actually, there are a lot of fears. Not fears. I'll tell you the observations that I have had when I was when I was doing solo. I think people were not taking me as a competition. Now, suddenly, when
Okay.
I start building a business, a lot of my old peers and friends start thinking of me as a competition. Fundamentally, principally, I believe that agency business is such that you cannot at all win by being an alpha. You will
Mm,
have to be like I call it. You will have to form a cartel. Like for an example, collective artist network is a group of companies. There is a concept of group of companies in West. India में problem ये है, people keep on thinking that I will eat your share.
Yeah.
So the first thing I think when we met, I told you that I don't see it as service versus product. I see it as service plus product. Because if I see service versus product, the problem is you will be head on competing with me plus other services agencies. And the
Yes.
problem is if other services agencies start taking you as a threat, they will start bad
Mm.
mouthing you. They will not endorse your product, and you cannot exist without endorsements of these people. So that's what I fundamentally believe. But I have noticed that when I was an individual, I had less quote unquote business threats. Right now, I have. There is a lot of bad mouthing happening. So same client को 50 लोग pitch कर रहे होंगे, and people are like, we will decrease the price and all those tactics and all. Second is when I was doing it all solo, I did not have to form a solid SOP because I was not in the charge of scaling. I was not in the charge of training people. I was not in the charge of building systems. Right now, I have to learn those skills of building systems, building SOPs, building protocols. I never had to follow, I never had to build an HR process. Induction program kaise hoga? How do you onboard a person? How to do cultural hiring? How to check a
Mm.
culture fit? I had to build those processes. I had to build my talent playbook, which kind of talent we
Mm.
want in our team.
Mm.
I had to build an office thesis that which kind of vibe we want in our office. I did not have to think about it when I was doing a solo person. Cash flow, a consultant, biggest difference between both of the things. As a consultant, you get your payment on your day one to day fifth. As a consultant, agency retainers 30-day credit period, 5-day credit period. So it is a it is a complete different accounting cash flow concept.
Yeah.
In fact, a funny fact: when we started, and a client told us that, "Hey, we want to give you a 2 crore contract." I was so naive of me just to be very jolly and saying, "Yes, we can absolutely do that." And then they said 45-day credit period, and I had no idea what the hell is this word. And I was like, "Sorry, can you please explain what does this mean?" So it was very awkward moment where the client is explaining me business पहली बार कर रहा है क्या? So I was like,
Mhm.
so then he was kind enough to guide me and say that इसका मतलब ये है you deploy your 2 crores, I give
Mm.
you your 2 crores after 40, and I'm like, what the hell? How do
Yeah.
I get this? So you will go out of cash. Like, where do you get that? You can't keep rotating cash there.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is a massive difference in this.
Mm.
These are the core life differences or responsibility differences. And then you have other stuff. You plan for appraisal, you plan for appreciation. Yeah, you don't do that when you are a solo. You are just
Yeah.
responsible for yourself. I won't say which one is a better life, but I have just taken it as a challenge that let me see if I can be this person. It's been a good 1.5 years that we have crossed. Our clients have been inbound. We have not done outbound yet.
Mm.
I might put outbound next year when I feel that okay, right now we have all systems in place that if I just put the pedal and I slightly take a back seat, system can run. Then only I'll
Great.
push the pedal. But yeah, that's the more difference.
Great. Yeah, Sindhu. I mean, a lot of things I'm able to relate to, at least
Yeah.
most of it. Yeah. You are enjoying the journey so far as a founder, as a CEO?
There are tough moments. There are tough moments. Yes, there are a lot of tough moments. There are breakdown moments. I won't say it's a rosy picture. There are very few rare pessimistic thoughts that come to my mind. But most of the time, I'm an optimist. क्योंकि कर लेंगे कर लेंगे कर लेंगे. By nature, I don't think CEOs are well rested people. We are restless, and that's why we are shooting this podcast on a Sunday. So you can define how much restless we are. But so far so good. I'm loving the other side of me that comes out. Being an alpha, being a sigma, being a predator, equally being a collaborator, equally being a team player, equally being a
Mm.
leader. It's a different you self discover yourself as well. So it's a
Yeah.
good
Yeah.
personal journey as well to just see.
Got it. Got it. What do you look for in people you are hiring for, especially maybe in that the role that we were speaking about, the creative strategist, someone who should have a knack for building resonating content, at the same time should be able to measure the content or engineer the content, right? So I don't know, I think we can put different names to it, content engineering or content
Yeah.
engineer or a creative strategist or whatever, right? So what kind of traits do you look for and what are typical archetypes you think are able to do this more optimally?
So this is my favorite question because I think in business building, and I think I missed this majority part, at least for me. is just figuring out this, that when your talent is not existing, you have
Mm,
to basically build everything from first principles, like where your
mm,
talent will be sourced, which
yeah.
kind of talent you want. Do you want the talent from the legacy ad industries, or do you want talent from the performance industries? Everyone have their shortcomings. Or do you build fresh talent? I have deployed a lot of playbooks. I have won in certain areas. My bet has worked. In some areas, my bet has not worked. We did a recent layoff round that I was just telling you. Some bets of ours did not work. So we are just continuously learning fast in this. Until now, what I have realized and how my talent pipeline looks like, I'll tell you. You will be surprised. These people come from Instagram.
Okay.
Me being an influencer on Instagram helps a lot. Like yesterday I put out a reel and I have got 70 DMs from creators who want to join the founders office team, the
Wow.
content engineering team, and all. And
Mm,
you know it extremely well that these people are not hanging out on LinkedIn, because LinkedIn crowd is different in this case. So it is
mm,
contextual to contextual. So whenever I'm hiring a producer, I might go to, I might poach, or I might reach out to an exact agency which is giving that service that I am looking for. When I'm looking for editors, I will go to a YouTuber ka editor, or I will go to an
mm,
Instagrammer ka editor, not a brand editor, because
mm,
both are different breeds. Whenever I'm looking for content people, generally my archetype or my learnings has been that if someone is creating content and if someone has cracked at least 20,000 followers on Instagram in short format, you can train them even further and make them much, much better,
mm.
versus someone who has been doing content marketing at any company and have zero digital presence. They will fail. They will
Okay.
not be able to do this. It's a creator instinct that you need.
Yeah.
It's
Okay.
a plus I call it rapid action creation instinct, which is your mind working in spending 2 days to come up with an idea that will work, or is your mind working in launching 5 videos per day and then thinking which videos is working and quickly just doing? I will prefer the
Yeah.
second. That is the
Okay.
second topmost archetype. Third is, I always look for people who can think hooks. I don't care about ideas. So in the interview rounds, I ask that, hey Surinder, I have to promote a OnePlus phone in an Instagram. Just tell me 5 hook ideas. And if I see that you can think in hooks, I don't care how great of a scriptwriter you are, because I know then you can create great bodies using AI. If you have a hook mindset, you can do it. So I would rather take a creator, put
Mm.
that creator in a performance marketing content strategy role. The person will do beautifully well, versus taking a performance marketer and putting them in a content strategy. That absolutely won't work. There are very few performance marketers who can actually crack content.
Got it, Sindhu. So you will over-index for, or rather like index higher for someone who is already an individual creator who has managed to create a few thousands of followers,
Yeah.
and
Even
then you will
if
also,
it is 5,000, even if it is 5,000
yeah,
followers, still works
sure.
versus nothing.
Okay, great. No, that's great actually, because I've also been seeing people who call themselves as a content creator, not really active, be it on Instagram or be it on LinkedIn. I think, yeah, it's probably then they are not really enjoying what they are doing, or probably that's not something that they want to do it even without having to get paid for that and so on. I think, yeah, no, that's a really great framework, Sidhu. Yeah, I think now we have a small lightning round kind of discussion, Sindhu. So just 3 or 4 questions. Try to answer it really in short, so that the
Sure,
entire session
sure.
can
I'll
be
try.
a 3 minute thing, right? Yeah.
Sure.
So yeah, first is like I want you to recommend a book or a podcast or a creator that everyone in this field should definitely listen to or read.
I think I have always said Hooked by Neerayal is a mandatory book.
Okay.
Contagious by Jonah Berger is a mandatory book.
Okay.
Like these two are so much mandatory books that I honestly lose respect if I tell anyone and if the person joins me and if the person has not read the book. It is
Okay.
so practically applicable for a product manager as well, for a growth manager as well, for a creator as well. It is versatile. On YouTube, Alex Hormozy gives some amazing content ideas, some amazing
Yeah.
frameworks. If you go and type Mr. B, Paddy Galloway. Paddy Galloway is a great strategist. I think he was a strategist of Mr. Beast. He also gives some
Okay.
amazing ideas. So,
Sure.
what I will suggest is not a particular channel. I will suggest a
Mm.
search query. Just go and
Sure.
type Mr. Beast strategist. Just go and type Alex
Sure.
Hormozzi strategist. So if you
Sure.
start looking at so and so large strategist of a
Mm,
creator,
mm.
amazing frameworks. Like I'll just tell you, I know it's a short round, but I have to say this because these are
Yeah, yeah.
some
Please take your time.
good actionables. Recently, I watched a video, and there was this guy who was a strategist of Mr. Beast and Alex Hormozzi and someone else. I don't remember. I think Gary Vaynerchuk as well. He tells a very simple framework. He tells that anyone doing beat and doing founder-led branding as a company playbook should follow or should understand these two words. There is something called contradicting view. There is something called contrarian view. What
Mm.
he mentions
Okay.
is always have a contrarian view as a hook and your videos will work beautifully well.
Mhm.
Example, if Surinder makes a video about, hi, my name is Surinder, I'm the founder of Hawky AI, and we do this. There is no contrarian view. There is no reason for me to listen to your video because you have wasted my first 6 seconds because I don't care about Surinder, I don't care about Hockey.ai, there is nothing in for me. If Surinder
Mm.
starts by saying this, performance marketers and brand marketers do not go well with each other. They are the worst enemies of each other. That's why
Mhm.
we built Hockey.ai. I'm
Mm.
Surinder, founder and CEO of Hockey.ai. So the first one
Mm.
is a contrarian view,
Yeah.
and hence you suddenly have an attention of people to listen to you. That's just a
Yeah.
minute nuance.
Sure.
Just go and type strategist of Alex Hormozy, mil jayega. Amazing podcast. I just completed yesterday.
Okay. Got it. Got it, Sindhu. No, that's great. And one really underrated thing about building a company, what would you say that?
Underrated. Good admin and finance, I think.
Okay.
Admin is so underrated. Admin. I never thought admin to be this underrated. So, like when we started, I never had a thought in my head that we will need a housekeeping stuff, and it was so much pain to figure out housekeeping stuff because it is easy to find marketers and script writers, not a housekeeping staff, and not someone who is a receptionist. So hard, so hard. Extremely underrated. Admin and finance.
Got it. And one underrated metric that people don't track, but they should when it
Cost per
comes to
share.
content.
Cost per share.
Cost per
I've
share.
been saying this metric since 2018. It is still relevant. I don't think it
Okay.
will go out of the way for the next 10 years.
And one underrated skill that probably today performance marketeers are not focusing, which they should focus. Maybe someone young,
Script writing.
script writing.
Script writing,
Got it.
writing. I think again,
Got
plain
it.
classic. Anyone who reads Seth Godin or Philip Kotler, they will always say all marketers need to be good writers, and that still doesn't change.
That doesn't change. Got it. Got it, Sindhu. So yeah, super great. And one last question before I let you go. Who would you recommend to be on this podcast in one of our future episodes, Sindhu? Can you recommend a
You
couple
should
of names?
definitely, Rohit Srivastav.
Which was the no?
Rohit Srivastav is ex-head of Clever Tap.
Okay,
So he is a very big face in the SaaS marketing world.
sure.
He is one of my mentor, very close friend. He is
Super.
the best. You should get him. Just reach out
Okay,
to him on LinkedIn or Twitter and just say him that okay, I do this, and Sindhu referred your name.
sure. I'll do that. Anyone else? One more person?
Rohit is gold. Then there is a guy. I don't know if you can convince Anuj Rathi. Anuj Rathi is an ex
Okay,
chief growth officer of Jupiter and Cleartrip. He's a good
right.
guy. If you
Okay.
can convince, who else is there in the performance creative world? Get someone from Fredo if you can. The
Fredo, yeah.
performance marketing, any performance marketing guy from Fredo. I have not seen any representative of them because they run some amazing ads, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And in high volume. I have not seen any representative of their internal team sharing any value add. So
Mhm.
I would love as a viewer to watch
Okay,
if you can able to convince them.
got it, Sindhu. Super. Yeah. Great. Yeah. Thanks a lot, Sindhu. Thanks for your time today. It was a really great
Thanks for having
conversation.
me.
I hope you really liked it. Sure.